Is this going to be like the main?
I think so. There is one person that met at a homeschool conference this weekend, and he was just telling her something relevant to the mastermind. I don't really know what he was telling her, but she was like, "Your wife's doing that? I want to do that. Can I be in her group?" So she might join us. Her name's April. I don't know anything else about her. So I don't know exactly what will happen. And Colleen was still unsure and then couldn't come today, so I will talk to her between now and the next meeting and see where we go.
I have a question about the next meeting.
Yeah.
Are we still having it on Wednesday at 10?
I'm thinking, no, every 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, okay.
Yeah, next Wednesday would be tricky for some of us. Can we start with a prayer? Does anyone just really want to say a prayer?
I'll say that.
Thanks, Melissa.
Our Father in heaven, we're super grateful for this opportunity that we have to meet together to talk about families and like ideal life visions and whatever else may come up. We ask you for the Holy Ghost to be with us, to guide our discussion, to discover and find those things that Thou has in mind. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. Is anyone else sweating? Or are you guys okay?
Just humor.
Okay. So I'm thinking, I gave you all little clipboards and stuff, and I was running out of ink, so some of them are a little faded. I want to talk about the back 2 papers a little bit later and just get started on the meat of the meeting first. So one of the ideas that I had since the last meeting was that it would be good specifically to discuss just a few main principles about families in general, as well as talking about the vision formats that we were planning to discuss. And specifically, I thought of that sentence in the Family Proclamation, the one, successful marriages and families are established and maintained on principles of, sometimes I forget this, faith, prayer, repentance, forgiveness, respect, love, compassion, work, and wholesome recreational activities. I feel like wholesome recreational activities is talked about a lot, and I didn't think that one necessarily. I didn't fit that one in, but the other ones, and then a few other principles I thought of, I would love to just at least make reference to, at least remember that those are some principles that we already know will make our families successful. And so I broke them up and included them in different ways. Today specifically, I wanted to discuss some of the roles that are in families, because I think that's really relevant to the resources that we're going to talk about today. And so, and just to give a little background on this idea from my perspective, not long ago we were having our family meeting and somebody disagreed with what we were doing, but it was what Matt and I really wanted to implement. And we got to a point after, we've been doing family meetings for a couple of years, but we still got to this point where we're like, what do we do now? Do we have to go for a consensus? Do the kids have to agree? Do we just get to say this is the law? But if we get to say this is the law, why do we vote with the kids anyway? And we got to this point where we're like, what exactly is our family government? And what's everyone's role in our family government? And we kind of know, but realized it wasn't as clear as we wanted it to be. So as we're discussing over the next weeks about family vision, let's keep in mind what the roles of each family member is, each kind of family member in a family, so that that can just be really clear. I think that's part of what we need to teach our children, is what their role is, what our role is, as we're creating the family that we want. So what's the role of a father? Let's just kind of brainstorm. What's his job in the family? To protect. What does that mean?
The word that comes to my mind after protect is security, kind of this, whether it's real or just a feeling. I think a father provides a feeling of security to family often, and in lots of different ways. Often financially, especially in our society, the father provides a feeling of financial security, provides a feeling of like protection, and a lot of everybody want to throw the others out there. Those are the two that first come to my mind.
That's what I can think of too.
Seems like she's going to do
Oh shoot. Oh. I've lots of times heard preside, provide, and protect as like the dad's key that he's in charge of. So what would it mean to preside? What does that look like? Or what does it look like in some of your homes that the dad's presiding?
Well, I mean, from an LDS perspective, I mean, the priesthood holder and the responsibilities of, I mean, in my house, my dad would always say that encompassed like making sure that the spiritual, like that we were gathering as a family for scriptures and prayers, and always say the mother helps with that too. That lies with him as the priesthood holder, presiding.
You can just have the bunnies and you So what about, we're talking about the roles of different family members. I'm not going too deep in all of this, but what would the father's role be as far as the family vision is concerned? With preside, provide, protect, what's that have to do with family vision and specifically creating the family that the family wants to be?
I think it's important, like if you really want a really sturdy, good family vision, it's important that it's not just the mother's idea, that it's not just the mother coming in and saying, okay, here's our family vision, everyone, this is what we're gonna do, everyone's on board now. Because chances are we missed the very first part where the husband might not be on board. And we might create something, and you might be like, okay, whatever, but not really be like, yeah, I see this. Yeah. So it's important not to skip over that part where this is the family vision and the father's an integral role in family.
So are you saying that even if the mother and the father disagree, the father's opinion is still important?
Yes. Saying such a thing.
Well, I just hear so much. My husband's not on board with this. How do I get my husband to blah, 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 blah? And maybe figure out what the husband and wife are willing to do, and that's what the family's going to be about.
Yeah. I mean, though, I think it's important to compare two different situations as we take this further. Because of course, there's families, single dads, single moms, families where the father's really not on board and the mother needs something to carry her through, and vice versa.
Totally.
So there is catering that needs to be done, but there's an ideal way.
Totally. I agree. So let's continue discussing the ideal way, and let's put in some disclaimer about that.
There's the disclaimer.
Yeah. Anything else about the fathers and the vision? There doesn't ever have to be, but if you have thoughts, share.
If something pops up, we can just insert backwards.
Yeah, yeah. So what about the mother? What is the role of the mother in the family? Yeah. I know, some of this is like we already know it, but let's bring it to our minds anyway. It gives me goosebumps just having you rattle it off.
Right.
So, I mean, obviously the mother has a whole slew of things that she does that are part of her role. But I think we're looking more for the principles like care, prepare, nurture, strengthen. All those things that we do fall into that. And what is the mother's role in having, in the vision and the creating the family?
Well, when I was reading chapter 4 of his book, I talked about standing calm, just going in to be an example of like, because I'm with my husband works and he's gone most of the time, my example, like actually practicing what I preach and not losing it, as she says, or sometimes I have trouble just staying completely calm or practicing what I preach, like it's such a huge part of it. It's just working on yourself and being an example of these things. Because it's not going to work if you're saying, this is our vision as a family, everyone, and then mom totally, you know, can't hold it together, you know.
Yeah.
Or start screaming.
Nobody's fine! You can't yell!
Don't you love that when your kids are yelling, stop?
Yeah.
I know, I totally agree with that. Like, I'm really good at this at the end of the day. And then my husband's not good. And so it's me, you know, from the time they get up until the time they go to bed, pretty much. And that's at the end of the day. But I had my son, my 8-year-old, call me out on the West, because our saying is, you become what you practice. And so he comes up to me, he's like, remember, you become what you practice. Right now, I don't think you're acting the way you want to be. I need a timeout. So I went to my room for a little while and calmed down. But it was really, like, for him to be in the mental place to be able to come and not just, you know, but, you know, like, actually say that, I was like, you're way better than I am. And not that he's always perfect by any stretch, but that was great.
Something that comes to mind thinking of how often the father is like a part of the family but not in the home is I think it's the mother's job to make sure that the children know that their father has an important role in the family.
Yeah. And still invite the dad to come to as many things as he can.
Yeah.
You know, put it on his calendar so he knows about it in advance. So he can, you know, make time for the important stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how it works for us.
And kind of be a go-between. Would you say sometimes it's like the mom clues the dad into the kids and the kids into dad, both ways?
Yeah.
Like sometimes at dinner I'm like, Amy, how about you tell dad about your day? You know, and like he's still in his day, she's still in her day, they're disconnected, and I want them to bridge. And I think sometimes that ends up being my goal too.
So connector.
Yeah. I like that. What about as far as vision goes? What's the mom's role in the vision? Creating the vision and keeping track of the vision. And I think what you already said, Kelly, was fantastic, that you have that saying as part of your vision of what your family is becoming. And you say it often enough that it's becoming a part of it. So I think already that was one example. What else? The mom's role in the vision, creating that family consciously.
I think you can use these words to describe that too. Like, if the mother doesn't care about the vision's gonna die.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't like keep it as a preparation and nurture the vision, not just her children, but the vision needs nurture just the same and nourishment just the same as children do, which leads to the strength of the heart.
Totally. And I think it can become part of our, just the way we talk. Like, the way Nicolene suggests is that you create this vision, you know what you're trying to create, and most of what Nicolene talks about, in my opinion, is a feeling. What kind of feeling you want in your family. And that can be part of your interactions. It can be part of your praise, it can be part of your corrections of your children, it can be part of your homeschool education, for those of us in this room, which would be all right now, who are the homeschooling mamas, that we can, because we've become explicit with our vision, we can express it and we can look for it in the books we read. And then, you know, see, this is where that person is, blah, 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 blah. Like I'm thinking of when we read Little Britches and they talk about the character house and how when we're doing things that are dishonest or whatever, it's like we're ripping boards out of the house. And that's what we're doing to our character. And so now we have an analogy that we can talk about. I think the same thing when we have our family vision. It's something that is even more special to us because it's ours, and it can be just part of our dialogue. So how about the children? What is the role of the child in the family?
That's the one I always have the hardest time figuring out. What is the role of the child besides existing and being part of the family?
Well, I think they contribute.
Sure.
So I think part of their role is to be contributing, to be, so the scriptures say that the parents' job is to teach children to be obedient. The children's job is to be obedient.
Yes.
So part of their role is to learn obedience and learn it in their youth so that it's not a struggle when they, reach adulthood, and have that be part of their moral character. So it's not, I'm minding because I'm told to, but have it be, I am obedient. That's my identity is who I am. I want to be obedient to God. I want to be obedient to the things that I value.
I think that's fantastic.
Those two things.
And I think that that's important to know. It's not just something that they have to do because you're bigger and stronger, but it's their job. That's their part in the family, is to obey. That's what their role is. And so when they get a little confused and they think that they can boss mom around, it's not because mom's better or bigger or anything. It's because that's mom's job to give instructions, and that's their job to follow instructions. It's the way God made families.
I'm just adding instructions to the parents. I think it's also important to know it is the parents' role to give correction. Without correction, I don't know how you can get to your family vision. On, pretty much everyone's part too.
Yeah. And all these things need to be done, obviously.
Yeah.
What about, I know we could go a lot more into this, but I'm kind of moving us along. What about the children's role in the vision and in consciously creating the family that the family is creating? I mean, obviously the children have part in that. Like, they're going to be helping or hurting by their decisions.
Right.
So what's their job about it? What are they supposed to do about it?
Well, I think that if they're part of creating it, they're going to be much more likely to follow it with anything. If they help make dinner, they're going to be much more likely to eat something they wouldn't want to eat. If they're helping to create rules, they're much more likely to follow them. If they're helping create their vision and they see the outcome, or you help them see what's leading us to, then they're much more likely to follow through. And I'm not perfect. I'm just, you're talking about the ideal.
We're talking about the ideal. That's what, none of us are perfect at it.
The ideal, but I think that if the kids are involved in helping to see the vision, then as the parents put it down in the way that they. But I think the kids are much more likely to stay true to it.
That makes me think too that part of the parent's role is to instill vision. Like, we're creating with these specific formats, we're creating a vision statement or a vision whatever, but the actual thing that is the vision is not something that's tangible. You know what I mean? It's like a vision is something that they can visualize, that they can see, and they're not going to come up with it on their own, probably. Maybe some kids just have that, in their hearts, but it needs to be continued and taught to them.
Another thing I think that I'm not exactly who to report this to, it feels like it might fit under loss, is that it's important for each person, I think especially children, to understand that their personal vision complements the family vision, that their identity is not lost in a family vision, and in fact is a building block to a better vision rather than a detractor. Where, we never expect all of our children to be the same. And it's okay that, we're all different people. We can share the same vision. We can have our own personal visions, and they can all work together.
What that makes me think of too is that as we discuss these different formats to help us get more clear about our family visions, some of the things are things that will not change because they are what our family is going to be all about. And some of the things are going to be evolving as we learn about more people. So I wonder, where we're talking about Nicolene's down the road 20-year vision, that I think we're going to want that to be the kind of stuff that doesn't change. That's the kind of family we want, no matter who else is still going to be born into our family, no matter what else is going to come, no matter what we don't know right now about what our family is going to look like in 20 years. these are the things that we are going to make sure our family looks like in 20 years. And so maybe it's not the specifics. Maybe we don't say we're going to have a professional whatever player or an accountant. You know, we're not deciding their jobs, or we're not defining their life missions in our family vision when it's the 20-year down the road. But we're going to talk about, this is what our family feels like. This is the way we are with each other. And that's something that we'll create no matter who still is going to come, with what personality, no matter what other circumstances are still going to come. We still know that we want that for our family, whatever that is.
And also remember that every part of the vision is kind of like a living document, where you might right now say, this is what we want. 2 years from now, you might say, well, we were so limiting ourselves by saying this is what we want. We want this. Like, and even change those things that are, this is what I am. It's going to be.
Yeah. So it still definitely can change and evolve. And I think just the fact that we do it, even if we, yeah, like the fact that we did it before we had everything figured out is how we figure things out. That process is going to help us to be more in the future. So that was a really good tie-in to what we're doing specifically today, talking about a house united and about ideal life vision. And when I told Matt I was putting those together, he was like, that doesn't make any sense. But let me tell you why I think it makes sense. What Nicolene talks about is the future, picture yourself in 20 years. Did everyone read, or is everyone familiar with that?
I don't even know what you're talking about. So
Okay, that's okay.
I'm familiar
I
with
don't think it's either. Okay, so I will go into it a little bit more. But the point that I had, that I was thinking of, was that the way we create what we want is have a long term and a short term at the same time. And so today I wanted to kind of marry those two, talk about the long term and the short term and how those two interrelate. So we're just to remind you, I want to discuss 3 things at each meeting. We're looking for principles about family vision. And I'm not talking necessarily about a specific format, but what are the principles about having a family vision, about how to create the family you want. So we're looking for principles, questions, and resources. So on this first page, I have some of those. So to get a little background, Nicolene talks in chapter 4 that's the why vision. Picture a holiday 20 years down the road. Picture, like, be there in that holiday, thinking of what it's going to be like, and really, like, let yourself close your eyes and go there and be there for a while. Sit with it. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Who's there? Picture your family there in 20 years and what they're going to be like, and the grandkids that will be there. Picture all of that. Picture the smells of cooking, which that one just goes way over my head. I'm like, somebody else please cook. I don't care what it smells like.
That's when you're like,
As
it
long as I'm
smells
not
like
cooking.
Cafe Rio.
Yeah, seriously. But like, think about what sounds you hear. Think about what people are discussing, what kind of conversation is happening. Think about the tones that people are using. And so, so we're going to do that exercise ourselves in a little bit. But what I want to first do, and I wonder if I have this backwards, we'll have to see from today if I'm doing this in an order that doesn't make as much sense. But what are the principles that we learn about family conscious creation from doing that particular exercise? Or can we know until after we do it? Should we do the exercise first?
Probably, unless
I might have this
everyone's
on
done
backwards.
this exercise before, that's the only way I think that like we've all done it before.
It just occurred to me that that's backwards. So let's switch to the other part of the meeting, which I don't have it written out. So just flip over one of your pages that's right on the back or something. And I think what I'll do is, I have done it before, and I want to do it more, but what I'll do is just read to you, and as I'm reading, kind of go through the exercise and just write and write and write. And one little word on writing that I've learned is don't question, don't doubt, don't argue. If it comes, just put it out. Because it may not make sense, or it may make total sense. Sometimes it's one, sometimes the other, but it flows more if you just go with whatever comes. So,
Sorry guys.
oh,
I did. You can be
Look at
Wow,
what.
my husband. They're all moms. So, there we go.
With that many children at once in the story, I just didn't want to send it.
Okay, close. Yeah. Our 3 family.
My one.
Okay, so picture, like I said, she suggests a holiday, whether it's a holiday or just a specific event, a get together of some sort. So think in your mind first of all what the get together is. Maybe write down what year it is. What do you look like?
That's scary to say. There's 20, 35. That seems so cool.
How old are you? Things like that, and actually go through with each one in your family. This will happen. We will get 20 years older.
I'll take responsibility.
Remember, this is the ideal. This is what we want to create. So we can look fantastic.
Well, I'm just saying, in the 50s, you know, in my 50s, that's really old. That's my mother-in-law. It's old. That's awesome.
So go through everyone in your family, you, your husband, your children, the children that may not be in your family yet. I know some of us are not done having children. The grandchildren, how old will they be? What will they look like? What will they be like? Just do that one for a while. I think I'll do it.
For a while, what do you mean, like?
Until
How far into the day, like, when you want to
we're gonna probably spend 5 to 10 minutes doing this exercise. I'm just gonna throw out questions now and then, just kind of keep going at your own pace, however you want to do it. But think about where you will be, whether we're in the world, what kind of house, where do you want to be? think about what the feeling is. We talked about that already. Feeling. What are you going to be doing at this moment? About the sound and the smell.
What's the last question?
Sounds and smells. Keep going a little more. About done. pause this and all of these formats that we do. I'm not going to get to completion here, but I hope that it just gets the ball rolling to get us a feel for it. So, would anyone like to share their favorite little parts about their vision? No one has to, and anyone who wants to can. Lost my vision. Darn it. I will start. I love doing this because I get so excited. That's the feeling that I feel when I think about this day, is excited because it's something that I would look forward to a lot. And so mine is like a little family book club. And everyone's going to come having read the same book today on this vision. I said it's Eliza's turn. She's 24 and she's going to lead the discussion. And I'm really excited about that because she always keeps us laughing when she's in charge of the discussion. And today I added this element that I didn't know, that the 15-year-old, I don't know who that is yet, I don't even know if it's a girl or boy, but the one who's 15 at this family vision thing will have created little coloring books for their 3 grandkids that will be there to color that are about the classic that we're discussing, so that it's never the adults get to meet at the expense of the children. Somehow it's in my heart that I'm going to figure out how to have adults learn and grow like this and have the children like absorb it without it being crazy. I am not there yet, but at my family vision, it's there because we have a little coloring book and it's like the whole environment. We're all together and we're all learning awesome ways. So that's the ultimate touch of mine.
So this is like completely different than the last time I did it. We're not in the same place or anything. And in fact, where we are is in her mission, because apparently she's in a certain mission. Not my choice, but so we're like there, our whole families. I couldn't get as far as I thought. Maybe I'd have grandchildren. In this mission, there's no grandchildren. But we're all there, and we're just so excited. And like, the energy level is the thing I noticed especially. It is not a drag to be with my family in 20 years. Like, it's energetic, and everyone is responsible in a way that's fun and not a drag for anyone at all. And I especially this time liked thinking about what people would look like, especially myself and my husband, because I already have in my mind that getting old is such a graceful thing, and that like as your hair turns gray and as your skin gets wrinkled, which my hair will probably turn gray, my skin will get wrinkled. Those things I already know. It's just like right with the world, you know. It's like that's how it should be, and it's a sign of the grace that we've lived our lives with up to that point.
I did mine, I chose Christmas 2035. And my kids would be between the ages of 21 and 32 at that point. Right? Okay. All right. I was just thinking probably I had several of them would be married. Maybe 4 or 5 of them could be married at that point. I guess maybe all of them could be married if they got married really young, my boys. But when I think of like in my family, my siblings, when we all get together, we get together once every 2 years. We're all really different personalities. So there's 6 of us and then 6 spouses, and there's this feeling of we all just love each other and we're so different, but we just get along and we play games and we laugh, and it's never like someone feels awkward or not involved, or like this brother-in-law doesn't like that brother-in-law, and there have been things in the past where like someone annoys someone else, or you know, we're all different, do things differently, but like there's one thing that I've seen it. So for me, I'm like, I know it can be done, you know, because I know that doesn't exist in every family, but I the biggest thing for me is picturing my kids and their spouses loving all of the other kids and their spouse. And even if they don't agree, they're super liberal. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, we get along and hang out and love each other no matter, you know what I mean? Like, oh, that's a joke. I love it. I was recorded, I'm like, it's just recording. you know, like that we could just be together and enjoy each other. Do you know what I mean? Just chill out and hang out and be like, let's play games, let's watch movies, let's just laugh about the last family trip we took or family reunion or whatever. And for me, I don't have specific ideas of like how many are in this position or that position or married or not or who's doing what. That's the most important thing, is that we all want to come together, that no one feels forced to be at that Christmas gathering or just like, oh, I gotta go with my family, it's gonna be awkward, but that everyone loves each other and it just feels good, it just feels right to be there, you know. I don't know. I feel like if nothing else happened in this, it doesn't matter, but that's the thing. That's the thing that matters. So how do we get work at home, you know? So.
My family's a lot like that too. We're really different. There's five siblings. Their spouses and their kids. We're all really different. We do different things in different ways, but we all get along and we really enjoy being together. And that's something that I tell my kids. We don't have this yet, obviously, but when they're fighting, I say, now if I treated Uncle Dan that way, do you think he'd want to be friends with me? Do you think he'd want to come over for Sunday dinner? You know what I mean? And so if you treat each other that way now, that's going to be your habit, and then you're going to grow up, and you're not going to want to be together. Like, you know, my husband says, man, it's a, okay, let's go. You know what I mean? So, and I don't bring that up to the kids, but you know what I mean? I do let them know, if you know, you don't treat each other well now, you're not going to have the relationship when you're older that you want to be together, and you want to have parties. And when I was envisioning this, I had Christmas too. I think it's getting all. That's where my brain was going. But my aunt and uncle live out in California. They have this huge home, and every year they have their family over, and they have a home, and they let it freeze, and they have ice skating, and they have like sledding, and everybody just gets together. And that's kind of what I envisioned. I envisioned lots of laughing, lots of, you know, acceptance no matter where people are at. Eating foods that fill and nourish our souls. We've been talking a lot about Zion foods versus Babylon foods and how that fell into my vision also. And playing games and just visiting and reminiscing, having that good experience. My kids are also 21 to 28. And so I'm sure at least a few of them will be married and some grandkids in there somewhere, I'm sure. Much as my older two want babies. And then the sound of the fire, the hot and just everybody coming together and just having that spirit of love and unity, I guess.
I want to have like a family meeting every month, and then this is where my setting is. It's like family dinner, and then after where we meet. And my mom sometimes says about Tyler, she'll be like, "You're going over there," when it's only really like once a month or twice a month that we're over there, and it's hard for me to listen to my mom say that, because I would hope that she would just like, oh, she's had 7 kids, just make a whole bunch of food and say, we're having dinner, come on over. Like, she would have at least 3 or 4 come. And so that hurricanes, I want that for my own family. I want to be able to make dinner and just everyone wants to be there and wants to come and have dinner and just talk and just love to be at home. And another thing that my vision that I've always wanted is I want to have a special, like, personal connection to whatever home we're living to at the time for each child. Because I know that for me, I always wanted to go home and like I go to my mom's house now, and it's not home for me. I want that connection to be with my kids where they have something there or something that they would like to have there. They want it to come home instead of feeling like when you take your kids there, they're going to break everything in the house. You know? Yeah. I just want to be like my house is now. Yeah. And I first thing I put was I don't care where I'm at. I just want my house to be paid for, and I don't want to have any financial burdens against my family. So I don't care. I could be in the same house. I just don't want to be financially strapped down. Yeah. Because I feel like that is a really big burden on a lot of families.
I love picturing that, like every kid, when they think about your home, wherever it is, they just think of what they love about it.
Yeah.
Like they have that feeling. I can sense that from what you're saying.
I hadn't thought about that before, but I really like that too.
Whether it's a certain chair or some of that, like a lot of times when my mom's getting rid of stuff, I'm like, I really like that. And I don't want to necessarily have it in my house because I don't want it in my house. It doesn't belong in my house. It belongs in my mom's house. So it hurts getting rid of things. Like last time she got rid of every single printed picture. Wow. She scanned them all and she said, I don't want these. You guys can take them on. I said, are you kidding? Getting rid of all the pictures. I don't care if they're on TV or wherever they are. Now they're all dispersed between 7 kids and I have no idea where that certain picture is. It's hard.
I feel like you, Hillary, are really tuned into like, this is what I want because of what, like you're so tied into the feeling of what you want because of the things that you've not gotten. And that's from conversations before this one. That's gonna really, like the good that's gonna come out of your pain is you're gonna be able to just have the thing you want. Well, I'm thinking that, as we say, my eyes were bigger than my stomach about this meeting, and that I'm take a quick pause. There's still a little more to discuss about this particular format, but can we just take a little pause and look at the Family Vision Mastermind page? That's the last page, and this is kind of like the course syllabus I created.
Love it.
And so I'm wondering if it would be better for this meeting to be split into that it's really just one format per meeting is as much as we want to talk about, and do the ideal life vision next time and push everything down one. And I did leave 2 spots at the end for additional resources. So I mean, some of this mastermind is going to be one of those living, breathing, adapting things as we go along. But I'm wondering if we want to scoot everything down one, and next time I will talk about the ideal life vision, and then we'll sign up for another stuff. Is that a good idea, or do you want to just keep going and hang out for another hour or more to finish this meeting? I'm good. I don't have any conflict, and I love this kind of stuff. But we've already gone an hour. We still have some more that I would like to discuss about that. What do you think?
I think that makes
I think that would probably be the best. And we don't want it to this mastermind to feel like these long drawn out things. So, okay, so let's just go back to talking on this meeting one page about about this specific exercise that we did. What are the principles about conscious family creation that exercise helps us? Or that are a part of that exercise? What principles do we find in that resource? I think one of the principles is to be the first one to answer my own question, is that creating that feeling, like all of us tuned into a feeling. I know it was one of the questions, but I don't feel like that's a hard part. When we picture this, we want it so much that the feeling comes. And one of the principles of creating the things we want is tuning into the feeling of it. That is such a powerful part of manifesting the thing that we want. So with families, create like what, I mean, that's the closest thing to our heart a lot of the times is our family. So to picture the ideal family for our particular family, that feeling is what's going to keep us motivated, keep us focused, keep us doing it. Because anytime we can tune into that feeling, we'll be like, yes, I love it so much. I'm willing to do what it takes to have that thing. So I think that that's a principle. You know, before I do that, actually, I put on here what are principles, and I should just tell you a little tiny bit of background that some of the courses that I have taken specifically talk about principles, and I have now learned from those courses that I'm never going to lead a discussion group again that's not principle focused, because to me that's the best way. That's just the way to do it. And so what I've learned about principles is that principles are true at all times and for all people everywhere. They're just always true. So sometimes they're like cause and effect. If you do this, this will happen. So specifically in this mastermind, we're talking about principles of conscious family creation. I think that may be the name of something. Conscious family creation. So when we say a principle, it's if you do this, this will help you consciously create your family. That is when I say, what are the principles about this resource? I'm asking, what do we learn from this resource that if we do it, we will be able to consciously create our family? So one of them, I think, is tune into the emotion. What are some others?
I mean, this is what you're looking for, like repetition. I mean, obviously, if you like come up with these great ideas, how you feeling being like, oh, 5 years later you find it in a drawer and you're like, oh yeah, it's a really cool idea. I never think about. I don't know. Is that what you're really thinking
Yes, totally.
I think also the vision accompanying the feeling, like I can bring up a feeling and have no idea where it's taking me, but the actual vision helps me put myself on the correct path rather than just, yeah, it'd be awesome to that way. Yeah.
It's like Stephen Covey's begin with the end in mind.
Mm-hmm.
We can see that end.
I think also having faith in the process, having faith in the people, having faith in the journey, and allowing that faith to bring those things to fruition.
Is there any way, moving on to we're going to skip the part C because that's the resource we didn't discuss it. Is there any way that Nick Lane's resource should be adapted here, or is it just already perfect for what we're trying to do here in this mastermind? I put that question because a lot of the resources are more directed towards individual, and so like how do we adapt it to family? So this one's already to family. I mean, do you think there's any, as we're thinking about, I personally want to go forth and teach this to other people and create my course, is there anything that I should do to tweak what Nick was saying, or just leave it perfectly as is? That's what I'm trying to ask.
I think that it's good for adults, but it needs some adaptation for children. I'm guessing that you want to bring children into the vision. And if I were to sit down, especially with my 4-year-old, and be like, okay, now think about, she doesn't know what 20 years is. Like, she has no concept of what 20 years even means. So I think it needs adaptation for children. But that intact for adults, just the way it is.
I love that we keep that in mind, because I know that's not what all of you are seeking out of this mastermind, but anything that we can think of to help in the future, because I really do want to involve, like, why create the whole thing, the vision with just the moms? We need the whole families involved, so I think that's great. I mean, I think it works for us here, but yeah. Anything else about that? Okay, so skipping on to part C. What are ways Nick Lane's resource can stay a focus for families? And I actually took notes at the bottom of a few random things for myself. I didn't need to print that for everybody, but there it is. But some of them that she says specifically in the chapter is that they revisit the whole family vision as part of their family canon, their morning devotional time. They also talk about their vision for the day. They have a family vision sheet. I don't even remember what she said about that. I just wrote that down. Where she suggests keeping a journal where you write down things that happen in your family that are aligned with your family vision, and it's like you're creating evidence for yourself that this is coming to pass. This is what's happening. This is how it happened today, or this family trip that we went on had some of that feeling, or whatever it is. And then she also suggested that as we stay focused in our families with couples meetings, family meetings, and mentor sessions with our kids, those are ways to keep us on track with our family vision. Can you think of any other ways that if a person was going to have their family vision created from this resource, how would they visit it so it's not in a drawer for 5 years? What would they do to use it?
The thing that pops into my mind is kind of directed toward young children, but just having this discussion with a young child and then asking them to draw a picture of it, and then not stopping there, hang it in a very obvious place and help them feel so proud of that picture. I think helps them, wow, and as they get to be old enough to write and stuff like that, you just add the resources that they're learning and let them internalize the vision just the same as you would like to do for yourself.
I like what you were saying too, is for the language and touch our kids and say, would Uncle so-and-so want to come hang out with me if I talk to him? That you're reminding them that we have this goal as a family, and keeping it part of the language that we talk about it. It's just they're used to having a conversation all the time, so that it's on the forefront of their minds.
I think we can take it in a lot of the same way that we take in gospel things, like taking pictures of Christ, taking pictures of the temple we talk, we go to church. It is so a part of everything that we do that it's hard to imagine that our children won't at least take a little part of that, right? As they leave our homes. We're hoping much more than a little part, but I think if we put our family vision right up there with those things, that have that kind of place.
And it will be easy. Once we get some of these practices in place, it will just show up when we read something. That's like in our family vision. If it's that present in our mind, we'll see it all over the place. And it's not like we'll have to make up opportunities to teach the kids about it. If we just get that ball rolling, it'll show up.
It's just important to know it's a way of being. It's not just a thing, it's a way of being.
My goal for this year, this school year, because we're just starting, is to have to work on the memorization of the Living Christ and proclamation, and then I want to kind of have a little vision statement. I want to have a strong family vision statement and have all of them have all of them at least studied, if not memorized. And I think my 8-year-old, probably my 6-year-old, can memorize. If you don't do it, but I want to have it incorporated, but like she said earlier, having it be a living document, and it's not something that is just so you're 32 years old, but something that's constantly adapting and changing for the needs of where we're at. But I want it to be that important to them. So I think this is good to help me kind of find my own vision.
When we move on to idealized vision, I think that'll be more.
Yeah. And that's what we have lots of formats we're going to discuss. So I'm not thinking that after today everything will be all figured out for all of us.
No.
But if you're like, wait, I still don't know how I want to do it.
That was just
Come
me
back.
disclaiming things that would be more pertinent in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm just also referring to just the dynamics of my family. I have one of those husbands, and he's great. There's 2 things, and I don't want to have part of it. And so for me, trying to figure out, trying to get into everybody's heads and actually create something that does fit everybody. Because my kids are little, so it's hard to get into their head, you know what I mean? And then,
You know, that could be another one of our running themes that we discuss throughout the course of this mastermind, how to adapt to children, also how to engage spouses. Because so often I see, like, on the TJS thing on Facebook, how do I get my husband to read a classic? And I'm like, you don't. You don't just make your husband read, because that's not gonna help. And if you fight over, or how can I get my husband to come to church, or how can I convince him we need to homeschool, or how can I get him to work with me on the family vision? I think that's missing the point if we're asking that question. But I do think there are ways that we do our part, and we can invite that are still okay. We can, you know, like bring up one question now and then. And I mean, we're not being sneaky, but they don't have to know that we're trying to create a family vision. You know, just, what do you think is so-and-so's greatest strength? Or, you know, what role do they have in our family? Or, you know, whatever, family evening lessons, things like that. I think we can incorporate this, but I think especially when we have someone that's resistant, we gotta get with God to figure out what that's gonna look like.
I think we need to put that on principles, is that God is a key person. I almost want to go back to the roles and say, what role does God play in our families?
That is a really good idea.
Because without that, I feel like a lot is lost.
So I was just thinking, like, those that are resistant to visions. Like my husband's not resistant to anything. He just doesn't know what's going on. Like, yeah. So when I like, he'll go and say, I'm gonna be doing this with Bonnie. What are you doing? Well, you know, this. And I was thinking with Alan, like, is he resistant, or maybe he just, or whomever, maybe they just don't understand or feel the idea of what an actual vision is. I don't know. Like, does Tyler know that I want this for my family that I wrote down? Yeah. Does he have any idea about that? So as soon as they understand, you know, you talk about what I want, maybe they're willing and accepting of trying to work on one thing every week as you are, or whatever. Yeah.
I think that's really good. They can kind of see into our hearts. They're going to care about what's in our hearts. I think too, with what you said, Melissa, about God's role, the more, just one of the things I really feel strongly is that when I am asked, or when I ask myself, what do I want? What kind of person do I want to be? What kind of family do I want to have? What kind of whatever I want? What I really want to know is, what does God want me to do? Because that is what I want. And I know in my heart that what I want is to have what God wants for me. And then it'll be the thing that's going to make me happiest. So I don't have to choose, but God wants this, but I'd rather do this, because what God wants is what's going to make me happy. So I want more and more in my heart to want what God wants for me. And so if he's part of the process, I want him there. I want to do it the way he wants me. It sounds like it's almost time to be wrapping up.
I agree with that a lot. I don't know if you're on the rest of the way, but it was really interesting because I was trying, this is something that I should be doing. You know, and I was honestly kind of casual about it, because I was like, realistically, I don't foresee how this is going to happen. But out there, once, twice a month, you know what I mean? When I'm homeschooling and my husband's not, like, my husband's there today, which never happened. The school thing got canceled today, which, you know, we thought, you know, yesterday, and the way that the week was going, like, everything just kind of fell in place. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's obviously something that's important. And anyway, so definitely involving God with everything, and they'll make things happen in a way that you don't foresee being even a possibility. And was just kind of a witness to me as I was driving here. Thank you, Father, so much for caring about me enough that, you know, allowed things to come into place so that
I love that.
Oh, thank you.
Does anyone else have any other resources that are similar to this one that they just, one of the things I want out of this is to just share resources. What books have we read? What people have we talked to? What things have we listened to? Whatever. That specifically are like this future down the road, a similar resource to what we talked about today.
The idea that I got from the vision idea was a book that I talked about. It's called Everyday Parents Raising Great Kids. And he just talks about like how when they're older and that now that his kids are older, haven't stopped doing family meetings. Because they're older, doesn't mean you stop doing that. Right. It means it's more important. And whether that's if you have kids that are over cross country, technology, we can improve them now. Get them in and talk about what everyone's going through.
And I think it's going to be even more important for our kids, this next generation, because the deterioration of the family as a country is just at the worst kind of astronomical. And so to be able to have that strength, that support to fall back on, to feel connected, feel united, because you're much less likely to act out and do stupid things when you know that you're connected to a unit who wants to be at God's standards. Do you know what I mean? And so to have that, I mean, even more so with our family than, you know, for us as kids or our parents or whatever, I think it's going to be kind of a make it or break it kind of thing. Whether they're living the way that we want them to, and they ultimately, you know, their true self want to live, or if they get kind of lost in the noise and chaos. So I think that's really cool that it suggested that even now. Because I would love that for my siblings, my family. When we get together a couple times a month and we talk about things, but we don't have like this is the things we want to talk about, and not it's a forum where it's open and accepting and
Yeah. These are our goals as a family still.
Yeah.
I have one thing on my mind. I don't have a good resource, but since it's still in my mind, I decided I should share. I had shared with me this idea that's non-doctrinal, just putting that out there. But this idea that we are in our families because, like, in the premortal life, we were similar and we were friends already, which is why, you know, like, you'll have a musical family and born into that family's musical children. It's not something of our earthly genetics, it's something that existed before we had bodies that we brought in here that links us to our families. So like I said, non-doctrinal, but I like the idea that how on purpose our families are. And I don't even know anything.
Well, and it just led me to think of the eternity of family. We want forever families. So do we want forever families that just kind of casually get together and hang out and it's cool? Or do we want families that have been like creating on purpose for years and years and have had the joy that they wanted? You know what I mean? Like when I think of a forever family, I'm not like ho-hum about it. I'm like, that is what I want. So let's create what that we want.
Because a lot of times I think I've asked you, what's a forever family? Is my forever family my spouse and me? Or is it, like, I'm trying to define for me what a forever family is. Because I'm a part of a family, and I have a family, and my kids are going to have families. So how do you incorporate all that into a forever family? It's not possible. Like, it's really not, I guess it is possible, but
we don't get it yet.
I don't get it.
I don't get it. I think of my husband and I as our immediate family. Anybody outside of that of my relationship with my husband is my extended family.
Yeah, but your kids
are my extended family. They're in my home right now.
Okay.
They're gonna go have their own families. Their families and their spouse. Their children the same sort of way. Where there's this huge connection, but there's a reason that there's this core of a mother and a father, a husband and a wife. There's a reason that, like couples that have infertility never have any children, they're still family. Even though they don't have that extended family of this and stuff like that. That's how I've always thought about it.
Yeah, I also think that it'll be better than we can figure out.
Yeah.
If we try and figure it out.
Yeah, imagine if we.
I don't know how it'll work, but it'll be better than we can imagine.
Well, the idea of internal too. You'll never stop. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of, sometimes when I think about that, I start to freak out. It's like, keep track of that. You know? Yes. And then that too, like, if we're all in God's family, if we're all children, when you think about your relationship to God, you feel like your daughter, but answer, So, if we're always going to feel like parents, we're always going to feel, we always feel like the child of God. We're always going to feel like the child of the daughter. You know what I mean? What's going on? Always.
So I had one other thought about adoption. There might be people that are older that have their children out of their home that want to start again. I think it needs to be adapted for them because they would come into this being like, this is a good idea, but my family fell around. I can't do this. And I'm guessing you don't.
And they probably would come with their pain if my family's not what I would have hoped a lot of the time.
And with
And
this
so what
idea,
should
I
you do at
can't
that
do
point?
anything about it and just leave it at that. And I don't believe that personally. So.
This is giving me vision of possibilities for where I can take this.
So are you creating this as you're going to be teaching classes for the next year, or are you creating this as here's my resource with all of my information, my curriculum of sort, or how are you, what's your vision for this?
I feel like that's remaining to be seen for me. I don't know that yet. The last meeting when Cohen talked about bringing in guest speakers and mentors, that opened my mind to more possibilities and about making it ongoing. That did something for me. That opened my mind to more possibilities. I was thinking, have this mastermind group create a digital program, probably put it up on the Strucker Mentoring Network, and done. That was a cool thing that God had me do. But now I have no idea right now if that's what it's going to be. But like I'm picturing now, it could be an ongoing class. It could be, we do it, like this time I do it with moms that are my same age and stage. And next time I do it with people at a different stage, which would be a little bit more intimidating, frankly, because you wouldn't go back, like maybe I could do it with young couples with no kids. But other than that, it's stages I haven't lived yet. But I mean, that's something that could be a cool way to do it. Or we could have a mix.
Have a variety. New insight.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about my 20-year vision improving when I hang out with people 20 years older than me.
Seriously.
Yeah. So the answer is I just don't know yet what he has in store. And one of my mantras is one step enough for me. And right now it's like, okay, that's a possibility, that's a possibility, that's a possibility. And we'll see. And I don't know, like, is this, I know that my personal mission is about strengthening families. It's not directed towards women. It's not directed, it's like whole families together. That much I know so far. So I could see this being an ongoing thing if it's in harmony with my mission. And I just don't know if it will be or not,
It's nice went to a family camp.
Yes, it does. It might have to be in Spanish soon. I don't know what's going to happen.
So are you guys all part of Strong?
But that was not one thing.
I was just.
Anne, are you part of Strong Group?
I'm sorry, was that an ignorant question? Are you part of Strong?
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
Her husband, Stephen Miller, that's one of the
Oh.
co-founders.
Are you?
Please don't be embarrassed. Don't worry about it.
No.
How would you have known that?
No, because I didn't, when she said it, I was like, I guess I am through association. Yes, but I don't like, in terms of super actively doing this stuff, I'm working on getting out of my house. On my own.
You have to be in your house.
I know. And I said, I watched the Anna thing yesterday, I was like, this is awesome. Why did I like totally look at this? I'm like, why am I not doing this more? Because I think I just get snippets for this time. So do you?
No, I think my husband's done something that
Okay.
I so does.
Are you on the mentoring network? So you don't have access to that resource? That's good to know. I wonder what to do about that. Maybe I will kind of sum up in an email what the ILV vision resources like. And so that you can kind of read over that and get an idea before the next meeting, so we just kind of dive into how it is.
I actually got her, she has a book.
Oh, okay.
At one of the recent, but I haven't even done it.
Okay.
So that's like,
Good to know. I think I don't want it to be that there are prerequisites, like homework that we have to do, but I do have some ideas for options.
well, I think it's beneficial if we're all on the same page with what,
Yeah.
you know,
So that this discussion can be the good principle stuff. Yeah. Well, let's talk about a little bit of the future stuff. I think that was fantastic. I absolutely loved what we discussed today. So here's my vision for the mastermind. I mean, last week we talked about a lot of what each of us would want out of the mastermind. And then I was left at the end last time with an idea that, okay, Bonnie, you just do it how you were going to do it and everyone can choose in. So I'm going with that. So here's what I'm picturing. And the times, first of all, how important is it to you all that we have a specific end time versus that we just cover the stuff? And if that's important, I want to focus on it. And if it's not as important, be a little more free flowing. So what do you guys want as far as that goes? I mean, I put something there as far as time format, and I don't think you followed it at all. I didn't pay attention to the time at all today.
well, honestly, that's gonna kind of depend on children. Yeah. My family.
And what do we think, I mean, Colin's not here to ask what she thinks, but what do we think about this arrangement with babysitter and everyone can bring their kids and have them in the basement?
That works great for me. I will probably have my youngest in and out, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But
I'm thinking that's more realistic for this group, that we do something like that, than that everyone finds their own babysitter every time. And
are you
like
okay
it
with
better.
your kids here?
Well, my oldest is turning 12 weeks of baby. I feel like last year, I believe my kids.
Oh, I.
Or is that what you're asking?
No,
Oh.
are you okay with this arrangement for the other younger families?
Oh,
Like how
well,
it's been today with.
because I said last time when I was like, I get so distracted by all the little kids. Yeah, I'm fine. I have a tendency to want to steal everyone's babies and scream. Everyone's okay with that. This is great. Yeah. I also, you talked about going swapping or shooting out the houses, and if it's easier for you to do here, that's cool. But I'm willing to if you want to do it.
Well, I did on the. If we all want to.
I love you, but I'm not driving that far.
Well, I am too, but it is a stretch. So
And are you good with coming up here if we just did it always up
as
here?
long as I'm wanting to make it with me. Yeah.
So
I know that sounds really silly, but it's kind of a.
it could be a deal breaker. Totally. I think that for most of us, that's going to be the best.
Because this is my choice. It's not like I don't. Do you know what I mean?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on being here live versus sometimes not being here live? Whereas it's every other week, I might realistically be able to be here. But I don't know.
So is everyone okay with Melissa participating online?
If that's
Would you
what
rather
our
she just not
circumstance-
participate?
I could not participate if that's too hard.
No, I think you're great. So
I have a way further back than I do.
Today is my husband's birthday and he works in Provo. So
He works in Provo and you live in Ogden.
we're in this very interesting circumstance right now.
They just barely moved. They lived in Provo.
That's great.
So he lives here during the week. And so I was like, just come down for his birthday. I was like, well, we're gonna have Mastermind. She's like, I'll come. Which, as we all noticed, was a really good idea. So I'm good with it, and we can figure out technology to make sure.
We might have to. I mean, every week would be too much for me. But every other week,
every week might be too much for me too, to be honest. Just with all partners,
It's a lot.
Yeah, let's do it. I really like every other, and to me, so we look at the thing that said family vision and mastermind, that's what I kind of thought as the syllabus. The way it turns out with the resources I wanted to discuss and the weeks I got on my calendar and filled it out, if we do just every other Wednesday, we could discuss everything I'm picturing to discuss and be done November 18th. And so we just do August, September, October, November, and then have that be our whole mastermind thing. And so it fits really well to me to be done before December starts, because December is nuts. So I'm wondering if we could, so we're gonna move the Ideal Life Vision to next time. So everything would move down one, and then that November 11th, instead of additional resources, and be the family song resource. Let me give you a little bit of an idea. If you are willing to lead some of the discussions, I think we'll get more of a rich experience out of the mastermind by changing it up. If that is uncomfortable or it's something you just don't want to do, and you're willing to have me lead all of them, I'm willing to lead all of them, and that's fine with me. But if there's any one of these that you're like, oh, I want to do that, there's something about that I want to learn, I want to work on, then we can kind of sign up and do that. I was wanting to ask Lynn specifically if she would do the family mission, because her family does have an explicit printed out family mission statement already, and she knows a lot of those resources. So, and I put suggestions on here. These are just my brainstorm. It can be adapted. So like the thing I had for September 23rd with the wall display, flag, color bonds, vision board, that's a little bit big. Let me tell you a little bit about what I'm thinking of that. Wall display is something Hillary and I both talked about, that the way we've pictured our family visions will include a wall display of some sort or another. And I just listed all of those because to me that week represents the visual format. And so obviously, like, we don't have to have a wall display and a flag and a coat of arms and a vision board, but all of those are kind of visual resources. So that week we could kind of discuss whichever of those.
Well, I think also another option would be to be able to just kind of bring those up in little snippets, and then, it's not like we have to come here and get everything prepared.
Right.
It just gives us an idea to go home and find out more, do more, searching, reading, research, whatever on our own. Yeah.
So I guess let's just, right now, are there any of these, and the family book, I put Soul Book in parentheses because that is a resource on the mentoring network that I found that I think could apply to this. I just glanced over it. I don't know what that is about, and it's something that I've never done before. So it's one resource that people could use. But the idea of a family book, like having something where our family vision is encapsulated in a book with words and pictures that we look through, and having that be one of the possible formats. So are there any of these that any of you would be interested in maybe doing a little bit more research on, or finding the resources about and then leading the discussion? Or would you rather that I just lead one? I really don't care what your answer is. Just what do you think?
I would not like that. But with the reservation, I make sure.
That's allowed.
I've never done. I've thought about these things. I've never really done any of them. So, and I know I said before, like I really like also want to make sure you get out of it what you want for your purposes here.
Yeah.
So I just assume if that's what's helpful too, if you feel like it's more helpful, it's gonna help me regardless, just to be thinking about it and following through, but like it helps you more to lead it in a certain way because of what you're wanting to get out of it for your.
I put on this discussion leading suggestions. There's the 3 things that I want to focus on each meeting: the resources, principles, and questions. And so I think if we were able to follow that kind of way of doing the discussion, I think other people leading it would still totally meet my purposes. In fact, I think it would make it a richer experience. So that is a concern of mine.
My thought was, if you just let everything you were just in charge of the curriculum, but like say Anne has a strong thing with family song or whatever, then you would specifically say, Anne, can you prepare 10 minutes of this? And then that way you're still reading, but Anne's presenting 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's great.
That way we're all getting.
What do you think, Kelly? Does that sound good?
Yeah, I like how they did. Either way is fine, but I can see how that would add our meetings and sometimes I
Yeah. So then the next question is, does anyone have one of these formats that you would like to share a little part of? You can kind of just sign me up. And if no, that's fine. If there's something you're like, I want to learn about this, or I already know about this.
I want to learn about it all.
Yeah.
Right.
Essentially have a resource if we wanted to do something with wall play with vinyl. But I don't have like any like thing to add of what you should do. I have a resource of how to get things done.
Frankly, that's the kind of resources that I desperately need. Like focusing on principles, I'm good. Read a book, I can handle it. Figure out how to make something cute on the wall. I don't know how to do that. So that would be
I guess
fantastic.
my sister has a friend that does it for pretty cheap. That I've gotten online vinyl lettering.
Let me give you a preview too about what I said about the family song with Ashley Ludlow. I met Ashley a month ago at the Live Big seminar, and she is diving into her mission, which is revolving around music and composing. And she started this thing where people will tell her elements of their vision for the family, and she'll compose a song for them.
That is so cool.
That is cool.
So that could be one of the resources that we want to use, and it's down a little farther. So by then we might have a little more explicit what our family visions are going to include, and so somehow we can incorporate Ashley into that. Like she lives in Idaho, so I mean, maybe she'll be down. Maybe we can invite her, or maybe something. Like we can figure that out. But that's a resource, and I wrote that too. Love it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that just be cool?
See a devotional every morning and have it ingrained in their heads.
Yeah, I know. What better way to brainwash them with your family vision than have a song for it?
Just start humming it on car trips and they'll all start singing, right?
Yes, totally.
That's your vision.
So, okay, there's just one more thing to discuss then. I feel like a lot of my questions were answered. I want to give you all an invitation for your participation in the Mastermind. And if you show up just with the brilliance that you show up with, then it will be perfect. If you would like to do a little more, and it's really one of those invitations that I think it'll work fine either way. So do this if it honors you and if you want to. Here were a few ideas that I would invite you to do. One is to always, like any resources that you know, share, which that is part of the discussion. So that one probably doesn't need to be said. But you now have this kind of syllabus of where I want to take it, what formats I want to discuss. So any resources you know, come prepared to share. Then these other two are my real invitations. But I think the reason I'm inviting you to do these is because I think it will help you get the most out of the Mastermind and to have a finished something, because there's so many classes that in the past, the old me used to take a class and then not finish it, or do a project and not finish it, and I'm leaving that old me behind. So if you, like me, want to leave that way behind, to have a goal that by the end of the Mastermind, November 18th, maybe that day is like just a share. You have some sort of finished product. I mean, knowing that there's the living, breathing, adapting work. But pick one of these as you go along that you discuss with your husband and more that have the family come meet me about, or whatever, and have something that once this Mastermind is done, it's up on the wall, it's in your rituals, in your routines, whatever it is. So figure out that goal if you want to take that invitation. The other one is to find something that you either want to read or study that's relevant to this topic over the course of the 2 months. And so that invitation, if you want, find something that you read, whether it's, I put out these books because these all, I think, are resources that are relevant, or something in the vault, the mentoring vault that's related. Pick something to study on your own. And then if you do, that will come up in discussion. I'm sure you'll be like, oh, I was reading and blah, 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 blah. If you want to take those invitations. So that is what I have for today. And I absolutely love this discussion. And I thank you all for coming. Amazing. So that I can learn. I am so sorry.
Well, thank you for all the prep that you did for this and.
I feel that's like meeting meetings. When there's people like you that want to come and discuss great things.
Bonnie, what was the first invitation?
Just to share resources as it comes up, which I don't even think I needed to say that because it's part of the.
So Bonnie, let's talk about like